Shadowplay is one of the films that, if I mention it, people tend to not know what I'm talking about. Even if I try and attempt to pronounce the French title, which is what it's commonly known by, people tend to have not heard of this. And this is also among the HBC fans. I only watched this film because Helena Bonham Carter's in it, and I definitely enjoyed her performance as Ada. But with the rest of it, it's a pretty average, mediocre film that will appeal to some people more than others. This was released in 1996, directed by Martine Dugowson, I hope I pronounced that correctly, with a cast, I think basically all French actors apart from HBC. This is a French film, and the narrative is tangled, and basically we have lots of characters here. Our main protagonists are Ada and Lise, played by HBC, and Romane Bohringer. I'm, again, definitely going to be butchering some of these words because I have very limited French knowledge, to my shame. They are costume designers. I think that's really interesting, a really interesting profession for them. It's going to give these characters a bit more of a dimension than if they were just, working an average 9-to-5 office job. It makes me want to know more about them. And then other characters start to get, they start to come in, and there are relationship problems between other characters, and suddenly there are all these different characters with relationship issues, and there's some tanglement going on. That's not even a word, but intertwining is the word I was looking for. And it just gets a bit messy, to be honest, and I just kind of got really bored of it. Not a lot happens. The characters themselves are not that interesting. Ada and Lise, I thought, being costume designers, that's something I thought would be quite fascinating. And yeah, it definitely is interesting enough. But there was not really anything in this film to keep me hooked, apart from HBC. She could stare at paint drying and I'd enjoy watching her doing it. But there's nothing else in this that kind of made me think, yep, this is a really good film, it's very well developed, it's really interesting, and it is a rom-com. Now, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I haven't seen any other French rom-com, to my recollection. So it could be that obviously different countries have different styles of humour and different things that make them tick, and certainly for me, this is not one of them. It doesn't really feel like a 90s rom-com that would have been released, say, in America. Maybe it's closer to being a British rom-com in terms of the style and the humour, the lighting, the mannerisms of the characters, how flamboyant they are, and some characters are more reserved. But for me, it doesn't seem to deliver very much that would keep me engaged. And it's an hour and 50 minutes, which for a rom-com is just not necessary. It's very long for a rom-com, and I don't understand what it was trying to achieve. It's not a bad film, the script's not poor, the acting's obviously not bad, the development of the narrative, although lacking in anything gripping, it makes sense. It goes from A to B to C, everything flows relatively well. It doesn't do anything for me. Apart from when HBC, Helena Bonham Carter's in it, it doesn't tickle me. It doesn't amuse me that much. It's not, in terms of the technical aspects, it's not bad, but in terms of being emotive and gripping and compelling, Shadowplay just does not do it for me.